Hey guys, welcome to another episode from New Zealand's biggest gap year, where a couple of years ago, Robin and I did an epic adventure doing 365 days of 365 activities all across New Zealand. And in today's episode, we are in Queenstown doing the awesome zip lining tour with Zip Trek Eco Tours, and yeah, we'll be going through the comments that you guys had and the questions you guys had the first time around when we publish this video. We'll cover those at the end of the video, so stick around to the end to find out more travel tips about the experience. This afternoon we are super stoked because we are heading to the top of the Queenstown gondola to make our way up to Zip Trek Eco Tours. We are going to be zip lining today. So we make our way to the gondola and head up to some awesome views over Lake Wakatipu and the Remarkables mountain range.
We had a couple of options to get up there. We could have walked all the way up, or we could have taken the gondola, but Laura and I are pretty lazy, or maybe we just have a lot of video to edit for you guys, so we chose the gondola. After getting kitted up, we are up for our first zip line. The first zip line is a practice run, so the entire group can get used to zip lining through the trees. It doesn't go too fast, but we are promised that some of the later zip lines are gonna go super fast. By the way, we are calling it zip line right here, but most people in New Zealand, we call that sport, shall I say, flying fox.
We have two awesome guides on the Zip Trek Eco Tours today. We have Henry and Amy, who one of them is going to go down each zip line first, and then the other one is going to go last, just so we know that the zip line is safe each time. We are getting used to the zip lines though. I am pulling some crazy shapes like a starfish because that's the thing you often see flying through the forest.
As soon as Laura arrives on the platform, Henry is grabbing all her gear and tucking it into her equipment so it doesn't get hooked onto anything as we move around the small platform. Henry and Amy are taking the time to tell us more about the forest, but Amy has something else in mind. She really wants to get onto the next flying fox, and for this one she wants us to do it upside down. So she demonstrates for us what we have to do to actually end up being upside down during the flying fox.
I am super keen to give this a go, so I fling my legs up in the air and oh my god, this is the best way to travel. This is how I want to travel throughout the rest of New Zealand from now on, upside down on a zip line.
I for one try really hard to put my legs up, but basically I'm looking like I'm shouting my pants while flying through the forest. I cannot succeed to stand upside down during this flying fox. It's pretty ridiculous and makes the entire group laugh. But my arrival, Amy keeps a straight face, unhook me, shows us a little bit about the Wakatipu Basin where we are currently flying through the forest, and starts setting us up for the next flying fox.
Henry and Amy are giving us loads of different challenges to do along the way. For instance, this one is where we need to keep our legs straight and just fall backwards. And it's actually pretty hard to do. Just falling into the abyss is so unnatural. But once again, we have the fun motion of ziplining through the forest in Queenstown. This is so awesome.
Laura looks like she's really having a hard time falling backward on this one. It's too unnatural for her to succeed to do it, so she reverts to doing exactly what she did the time before, trying to stand upside down while flying, but she ended up doing a robin and shouting herself all the way to the finish. Right after Henry unhooks Laura, he's taking the time to tell us more about the conservation work that they're doing in the area. They're teaching us about sustainability as well as the life cycle of the pine forest that we are currently zip lining through. It's absolutely fascinating to learn so much while having so much fun flying through the air. But they're keeping the conservation talk quite short because the next adventure has already been prepped for us by Amy, and we are about to fall into the abyss once more.
Each zipline that we're tackling is getting longer and longer, which means we're going faster and faster. And this one in particular has the best view of them all. We can see over Lake Wakatipu, over to the Remarkables Mountains and the Kelvin Heights Peninsula. It's such a stunning view on the way down. This is the longest tour offered by Zip Trek, and this has 6 different zip lines taking us from the top of Bob's Peak all the way to the bottom.
And this too includes one of the fastest zipline I've ever done in my life. Henry and Amy are prepping us for the next run, and they are telling us that we're going to be catching some real speed. They are laughing, giggling, and as soon as I leap off the stairs of this zipline, I can feel that this one is going to be really different. I start speeding up through the trees, and because the trees are so close together, I have a sensation of speed like I've never had before. And as soon as we hit outside of the canopy, the speed picks up, and oh man, it's going super quickly. But at some point the zipline is gonna stop right in the middle, and I'm gonna be stuck for God knows what reason, waiting for people to actually carry me all the way. Henry is getting a real workout, pulling me for over 10 meters all the way back to the platform.
And now it's my turn to take on this super fast zipline. This has to be my favorite zipline we've done so far on this tour, and I'm absolutely flying through the forest like a native bird. I feel so epic. I'm curling my body into a cannonball shape to make myself go faster, but it kind of fails towards the end, so I have to be pulled up onto the platform. To get to our next zipline, we are taking a short trail down through the forest where Henry and Amy are telling us more about the conservation of the area. New Zealand has a real huge conservation program to protect the native birds and native plants, and Henry's telling us more about possum trapping, which possums are actually considered a pest here in New Zealand. And after that, we are on to the final zip line of this tour.
Our final zipline is absolutely epic. We are jumping from a 25-meter high platform. We're going to be reaching a speed of 70 kilometers an hour, and the whole length of the zipline is 300 meters. So as soon as I'm leaping, I can already feel the speed I'm going to be taking. And because the trees are so close, it even enhances the speed sensation that I'm having. Flying through the air, I am expecting to be absolutely smashed onto the arrival trees. However, there is kind of a break in the middle, which actually stops me. I should have really listened to the instruction that I've been given by Amy and Henry, which was to actually crawl myself into a ball about halfway through so I can make it all the way to the end. But luckily Amy is here to help, and she's pulling me all the way to the platform.
Now it is my turn once again, and because this is the last zipline of the day, I really need to make this count. I'm flinging my legs in the air, doing my favorite pose, upside down, on my way through the forest, passing through trees at I don't even know what speed, making my way down to the lower platform. It is absolutely epic and an awesome way to end this tour. I had an absolute blast on this tour, and it's with regret that I'm walking down the platform and sort of walking, you know, the normal human way instead of ziplining on our way back to the bottom of Bob's Peak. There's a lot of cool little features along the way though, and we're getting out of our harnesses and heading back into Queenstown.
We worked up quite an appetite, so tonight we are not going to be cooking for ourselves. We are heading toward the Eric's Fish and Chips, which is actually, to my knowledge, the only fish and chips in Queenstown.
This is the first time Laura's not picking tomato sauce. She put this shit on everything.
But you make it for yourself.
Fish and chips is the go-to food right here in New Zealand, and on top of it, it's usually quite cheap. This box right here is only $10, but we're getting ourselves quite a lot of extras because we are fatties, and with the amount of activities that we're doing at the moment, we know we're gonna lose it really in no time. We also get to meet Anna, which is the owner of Eric's Fish and Chips. She is telling us more about the menu and the fact that she actually keeps her price super low because she wants to feed all the backpackers of the area because no one cooks in Queenstown.
The lake is super wavy right now. I've never seen a Queenstown lake that rough. So Anna just said, hey, let's go on a boat to eat dessert. Because that makes sense, right? So right now we're heading to Queenstown Lake and we're going to somebody's boat to be bounced around while trying to eat dessert. She just wanted to be really funny.
After eating our dinner at Eric's Fish and Chips, we are heading down to Perky's Floating Bar, which is a bring-your-own bar right on the wharf in Queenstown. And it's a pretty rocky ride today, and we are doing our best not to throw up our dinner, but it's a pretty cool novelty here. We're getting ourselves a couple of drinks, meeting the locals, and trying some of Eric's Fish and Chips speciality, which is the deep-fried kiwi fruit.
Deep fried kiwi fruit is now hands down my favorite dessert ever. I absolutely love the hell out of it, and to be honest, I did finish Anna's and Laura's deep fried kiwi fruit. I loved it. As you may know, I am scared of heights, but I'm gonna try to do my best today to keep my composure, because anyway, there is no other way around. Sometimes in some of those tools, you kind of have, oh yeah, we can get you down right here if you want to. No, here, you've got to make your way through. So
Alright guys, hope you enjoyed that video. Now let's have a look at some of the comments and questions you guys had the first time around when we published this video. So we have Ebe saying, in a few weeks I'm going to Camp Columba in Pukirau and I get to go ziplining there. I'm really excited. Cool, I hope this video made you more excited for that experience. Ziplining is pretty fun. We also have Scotia's Place saying, this is awesome and our daughter can do it. Adding it to our list. I'm not fond of heights either, Robin, but ziplining looks like so much fun. Yeah, this is a really cool thing about ziplining, is that it's usually really good to do if you're on a family holiday. Children can do it usually the age range is from 8 years old and up for most ziplining tours, but it's always best to double check. And sometimes they might have smaller children's harnesses and stuff, but yeah, usually 8 years and up is a good age range for doing ziplining. We have a question from Mikkel saying, what camera were you using? In brackets, what GoPro? So yeah, we have gone through quite a few GoPros during our travels, so I actually don't know which number GoPro that is. That would be a question better for Robin. I should have really prepared for this question here, but let's just move on. We can, I'm sure Robin replied in the comments anyway. We have a comment from George saying, South Park got me here. I totally know which episode you are referring to. Ziplining is definitely one of the more soft adventures in New Zealand. If you're planning on...
You had a question for me?
Yes. What GoPro were we using for the ziplining tour?
Hero 6 and a Hero 7, I think. But yeah, that's the cheapest GoPro we had back in the days.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Thanks for your input.
You're welcome.
So yeah, finally, George says, South Park got me here. And yeah, ziplining is more of a soft adventure activity. If you're expecting, you know, adrenaline thrills, that's not what ziplining is about. It's kind of like, it's quite a sort of, you know, more relaxing adventure activity that you can do in New Zealand if you don't fancy doing anything, you know, too crazy and adrenaline fueled, but you still want to have that sort of cool adventure where you're up high and going fast. That's what ziplining is. Alright, I hope that video was useful to you guys. If you do have any questions of your own, you can put them in the comments below, or you can simply join us for our live Q&A, which we do every single Sunday at 8 AM New Zealand time, right here on YouTube. Best place to come and ask your questions directly to us so you can get an answer straight away. Alright, we'll see you in the next video.